Okay, good morning, participants. We are about to start. So welcome to our program session. And I suppose all of you could hear me clearly. And whenever you would like to raise a question, please do that through the Q&A function. And I will be answering your questions whenever possible. So I suppose all of you could hear me clearly now. And we are about to start. So welcome to this program session. And let me first introduce myself. I'm Gabriela, and I'm the program leader of the BA in English Language and Culture program of the Open University of Hong Kong. So from the PowerPoint slide in front of you, you could see some relevant information about myself, like how to contact me, and also the websites of our program with the QR code. So I suppose after our session today, you may still have some questions in your mind regarding either the structure of our program or studying with us. So if you would like to raise any questions after our session today, and of course, you're very welcome to do that. So you could see my email on the current PowerPoint slide. So you could contact me through email. And particularly, you could also let me know that you did attend our session today. And after listening to this talk, you got some questions or concerns. So let's take a look at important information about our program. Now, our program is a 4-year full-time program. And this program provides students with a broad understanding of the English language through a variety of courses. So we have courses in different areas. From the PowerPoint slide in front of you, you could see many different areas. Like you could see fiction, drama, pop culture, scary poetry, films, language study, and etc. We believe that through these courses, students will be equipped with the mastery of English and knowledge of the corresponding cultural frameworks. So our program involves both the English language and also culture, and they are interrelated, and actually they are also closely connected. So how could we learn English through culture? And how we are going to learn more about culture through the English language. We believe that through these areas that you could see in front of you from the PowerPoint slide, we could know more about the formation of the English language and also the corresponding cultural backgrounds behind. And then I would like to remind you one very particular feature of our program. Our program has been approved by the government as a recognized English language major degree program. Now, what does that mean? That means for some of our graduates, they may want to become English teachers. So for graduates who want to become language teachers, they could apply for relevant grants. So it doesn't matter, even though you may want to say, I don't intend to become a language teacher. It doesn't matter. But we would like to let you know that you have been given an option. So it would be beneficial if you want to become a language teacher. A language teacher. And then even though if you may not want to become a language teacher, it is also good to know that our program has been recognized. And I believe that you would like to know more about the admission requirements. So in the upcoming PowerPoint pages, so I would like to let you know more about our admission requirements. And I also got some reminders for our potential applicants. So let's take a look at the current PowerPoint slide in front of us. Okay. Now, for local applicants who only have the DSE examination results, you should apply through JUPAS. So in front of you, you could see our very basic and minimum requirements for JUPAS applicants. So level 3 in English and Chinese, and also level 2 in mathematics, liberal studies, and one other elective subject. That would be the minimum entry requirements for JUPAS applicants. And I suppose most of you are actually non-JUPAS applicants. So for non-JUPAS applicants, do take a look at this PowerPoint slide in front of you and also the following one. Now, for applicants with other qualifications, you could take a look at this slide for year 1 entry. Okay, so if you would like to begin with year 1 of our program, we accept qualifications such as the IB diploma. And of course, if you have other qualifications and you would like to raise questions, you are welcome to ask as well. So take the example of the IB diploma. So a minimum score of 24 points. And this is the entry requirement for year 1. And then we also got applicants who have already completed year 1 of a local associate degree or a local higher diploma program. So you're welcome to join us as well. So this current slide shows the details of year 1 entry requirements. And then, of course, we understand that some students you have already completed or you are about to complete your associate degree program, you would like to learn more about some other options like upper year entry. Now, regarding upper year entry, listen very carefully. Upper year entry would be divided into year 2 entry and also year 3 entry. So for year 2 entry, the minimum requirement would be you have already completed an associate degree or a higher diploma, and the diploma or the associate degree that you have obtained is not quite related to English language or culture. So you could consider year 2 entry. And then if you have already obtained an associate degree or a higher diploma, and then the subject area is highly relevant to English language and culture, you may consider year 3 entry. And then a gentle reminder to all of you that the information listed here for both year 1 and also upper year entry, that would be the minimum entry requirement, So whether a candidate would really be admitted to our program or whether a candidate would be admitted to year 2 or year 3 of the program, that really depends on his or her actual academic performance. So we'll be reading information on your transcript, like the GPA that the candidate has obtained, for instance, in order to make a decision. We'll be considering some other factors, like if the candidate has been given a chance to have an interview with us. Okay, so we try to give students more opportunities. We believe that through having interviews with the candidates, we're going to know more about them. We'll be giving them some other opportunities to demonstrate the talents to us. So it also depends on the performance during the interview as well. Okay, so I hope these are clear enough for our potential candidates and also applicants. And if not, please let me know through the Q&A function. And then for our participants today, if actually you would like to ask a question verbally, okay, you are also, of course, very welcome to do that. But please first let me know through the Q&A function. Okay, first you let me know through the Q&A function, and then of course I'll be very happy to have a conversation with you or to have further discussion with you over different issues related to our program or studying with us. Okay. Now, dear participants, if you're ready, we are going to continue with this PowerPoint slide that you could see in front of you. Now, it is related to the structure of our program. So the topic of this briefing session today is the world of words. And I'll be giving you some examples later on. But first, I would like to introduce some administrative procedures like entry requirements and also the structure of our program to you before taking a look at the main contents of our program, and also to introduce to you what exactly is this subject about. So in front of you, you could see some happy faces. Our students who went to Romania for a cultural exchange tour several years ago. We hope that whenever the situation allows, our students could further explore the world and also the magic of language and culture through different means as well. In order to graduate, students need to complete a total of 160 credits. So you could see the composition of the 160 credits in front of you, with 120 credits on compulsory courses. They are also known as core courses. So either core courses or compulsory courses on English language and culture. And we'll be giving students flexibility for the 20 credits on outside discipline courses and another 20 credits on GE, general education courses. So students could select courses that fits them. So they are not really courses about English language and culture, but we believe that it will be very important for our young students to broaden their intellectual horizons through learning different things. So for these 40 credits, that means 20 on outside discipline and also 20 on general education, GE, students will be given flexibility. And then actually, even for the compulsory courses, we are going to provide some options to our students as well, so they could select from a pool of courses. In the first 2 years, we have already decided courses for our students, I mean the compulsory core courses. So you could see in front of you the table that indicates courses that students need to take in year 1. So you could see some core courses, for example, classic American films in autumn, and also introduction to English fiction, and also the structure of modern English words and sentences. So this is like a course being related to grammar. So we have both courses related to films. We have courses related to literature like fiction and drama and poetry in the second semester. We also got courses related to grammar. And of course, in different, at the later stage, students will be learning some other complicated things on how to incorporate language with culture, and also how to apply what they have learned through different ways as well. As I've mentioned, other than the core courses that we have designed for you in year 1 and year 2, students will be given freedom in selecting what they want to study for purpose-designed GE courses and also outside discipline courses. So you could see in front of you, this is a list that features some of the sample courses, some of the courses that our students could take for outside discipline. And they are courses being related to English language and culture. They are not exactly courses about English language and culture, but through different things like museum studies, literature and translation, and so on. So our students could learn more about the magic of English and also the magic of language or culture eventually. And on the following PowerPoint slide, you could see the electives in general education. And again, students could select what they want to work on regarding this component. And then some of the courses would be very, very interesting and also practical for our students in the 21st century, and also for students who are netizens nowadays, not only citizens, but also netizens. Okay, now in front of you, you could see the table that features courses in year 2. So we have some other courses related to literature like British and American drama, films, Asian writings, world Englishes. So pay attention to English in the plural form. So it is like for people in Singapore, they have already developed their own Singaporean English. Well, I think you got the idea that Chinglish and also Hong Kong English, terms like this, they are always being perceived in a very negative way. So we could explore issues like how come Singaporean English has already obtained a legal, if not a global status, while Chinglish and also Hong Kong English, they have been looked down. So what's the problem regarding these different varieties of English? So this would be something highly related to the global context as well. Now, so you could see different components in our program, even within the components of core courses. So they are not simply, general English, not simply like courses that some of you studied in the secondary school. Like in the secondary school, when we talk about English, that would be about, for example, reading comprehension, that would be about writing, that would be about listening and also speaking. Okay, and then studying English at the university level would be something more sophisticated for sure. And then in the following parts, I would like to show to you through different examples. So how are we going to know more about English and also the corresponding cultural background through reading through different courses in our program? Now, particularly, I would like to share with you, in front of you, you could see something that looks like a comic, right? Now, in the study of literature and also when we learn literature and also the cultural background, it is very important for us to pay attention to the context, not only the content, but also the context. Now, we're going to read this comic together. So when we read this comic, it is like reading a book, reading Harry Potter or watching a film. And then we take a look at this one. Now, in front of you, you should be able to see two ladies who are now having a conversation. You should be able to see a gentleman sitting in front of his computer. Okay. Now, and then these two ladies, they're having a conversation. Let's take a look at their conversation. So one of the two ladies, okay, the lady on the right-hand side is now speaking, and then she mentions, I think Larry is taking me to France. Now, and then here, context, not only content, but context. So I would like to ask you, can we see Larry? Can we see Larry in this reading, in this comic? Now, originally, we got no idea about the names of these characters here, but we reasonably believe that Larry could be the man on the right-hand side who is now sitting in front of his computer, okay? We believe that this man could be Larry. Now, and then we could also work out some assumptions regarding the relationships between these people as well. We have some assumptions, although the assumptions have to be verified maybe at a later stage. Now, I think Larry is taking me to France. This lady believes that Larry is going to bring her to France. From this, we could work out our assumptions regarding the relationship between Larry and also this woman. Could be husband and wife, could be boyfriend and girlfriend, lovers. Okay, I think he's going to take me to France. Now, why? The reason being provided by this lady is that he has spent all day Googling Paris Hilton. Now, I think you know that Googling, an action word, and this is relatively new. Okay, so a man during the time of William Shakespeare couldn't possibly imagine and also couldn't possibly make an assumption on the meaning of this word. We understand that, so the formation of language, it happens every day because of new elements in our world. So we understand the term Googling. He has spent all day Googling Paris Hilton. So that's why this lady believes that Larry is going to take her to France. And now I would like to ask you some questions. Do you think and do you agree that Larry is going to take her to France? Yes? No? And why? Now, if you understand this comic, it is supposed to be interesting and funny. You are supposed to smile, if not laugh. And the magic of language really depends on whether we know the context, the corresponding cultural background. But it doesn't, I mean, if you do not understand, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that, because it is the job of the teachers to make our students understand things that they don't. And of course, if you understand, that's good. You could explore in further details. Now, it is about the ambiguous meaning of Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton, from the point of view of this lady who is now in a conversation, she believes that Paris Hilton is a hotel in Paris. She believes that Paris Hilton this term is a hotel in Paris. So my lover has been Googling the hotel, and for sure he is going to bring me to Paris, things like this. Now, but we may have a different idea regarding the meaning of Paris Hilton. So if you got information about the corresponding background, so maybe you have heard of the name Paris Hilton. It is actually an American celebrity, So from our point of view, we may believe that Larry is not going to take her to Paris, in the sense that Larry has been Googling information of another woman, a very famous celebrity in America, rather than taking you to Paris and to stay in that particular hotel. So because of the different understandings of the same term, and because the same term may mean different things, that generates miscommunication or some other situations like what we could see from this comic. So the reading of English should allow us to know more about the corresponding cultural background, as long as we are going to pay enough attention. Okay, so I hope this is interesting enough for you. And then in the following, I've also chosen a topic. For this topic, from the point of view of many students, it is both a topic of love and hate. It is a topic of poetry. So you could see that actually previously in year 1 for the program, we have a core course, Introduction to English Drama and Poetry. And of course, the course involves the study of poems. So light verse, it is a genre under the category of poetry. Poetry could be very difficult for both teachers and students. For students, okay, it is also a matter of love and hate, as I've mentioned. Love in the sense that most of them could be short. So for students, they may not have to spend a lot of time preparing for the classes. And then hate in the sense that although they are very short, it really takes time for us to comprehend the very abstract concepts behind a very short poem. For teachers, that's also in a dynamic of love and hate, in the sense that poems are about emotions. It would be very difficult for the teacher to teach students on how to feel, or how to obtain that particular kind of feeling as well. And in our program section today, I would like to share with you some very interesting poems. They are short. And as long as you're going to pay some efforts in understanding them, you're going to obtain a particular message so that you would know more about the cultural background. Okay? And then these are light verses. I would like to read the first one with you. So the first one, the golf links lie so near the mill. This is both the title of the poem and also the first line of the poem. For many poems, the first line could also be the title of the poem as well. So in the study of poetry, there is such a tradition. Now, the golf links lie so near the mill. For some students, they may have difficulty in understanding this final word, the mill. What is the meaning of the mill? Now, of course, in our study for words that we do not understand, of course, we have to look up relevant words from a dictionary. And then sometimes we could use our imagination. We could make a guess as well if the situation allows. And here you imagine the mill is like a factory. So you imagine that. As we read the comic and also as we read a poem, we have to use our imagination from time to time. So you are like a film director, and then you imagine in front of you, you could see a factory. So next to the factory, you could see a golf course, okay? So the golf links lie so near the mill that almost every day, the laboring children can look out and see the man at play. Now, this is a very short poem that could reflect some problems in a society, in a sense that we think about. We have a factory, we have the golf course, we have children and men. When we assume and expect that these children should be enjoying their childhood, either through studying in schools or having fun, we have laboring children. The term is an indication that these children, they have to work. So where are they working? They work inside the factory. But from the windows of the factory, we could imagine they could see, because the golf course is so close to the factory, they could see some men, they are having fun. They are playing golf game. Now, and then we could see the problem of the society. Children, they are not studying, they are not enjoying their childhood, but they have to work. So the problem of child labors. And then we could see for men, they could enjoy the leisure of playing. You could also think about the term at play. What does that mean? What does the phrase at play tell us? Okay, so if we are going to pay enough effort in understanding each individual piece of work, for sure we could work out not only at the language level, but also at the cultural level. Okay, and then dear participants, I hope you are not too hungry because it's almost lunchtime, right? Now, in the following, I have this second piece that I would like to share with you. And also, I really enjoy reading this piece. So in front of you, you could see 3 different stanzas. So in a poem, we do not use, in the study of poem, we do not use the term paragraph, we use stanza. So a poem being divided into 3 parts. We take a look at, this is just to say, I've eaten the plums that were in the icebox. And then you could see on the PowerPoint slide some plums. And then we imagine in the icebox, that means the refrigerator or the freezer, we got some fruits, some plums. Now, I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox, and which you were probably saving for breakfast. I know that actually you have been keeping the fruits for breakfast. Forgive me. They were delicious, so sweet, and so cold. Now, we could imagine that this is like a little note being placed in the kitchen and probably next to the refrigerator. So to inform the person who is about to take out the plums from the refrigerator that, sorry, I've already eaten your plums. I've already eaten them. And then we could think about the plums, so delicious, so sweet, and so cold. if we believe that these poets and also writers, they are really great masters in handling and playing with the English language, we reasonably believe that sweet and cold, they are not only terms being used to describe the fruits, but they are also terms being used to describe these little notes being placed next to the refrigerator. Now, why? So you know that your family member has already reserved, he has been keeping these fruits for breakfast, and still you have decided to eat the food items and leaving this little note to tell him that the fruits are really very delicious, very sweet, and so on. So sweet and cold actually could be used to refer to this little note. It is sweet that you have eaten somebody's fruit and then you're going to let him know. It is also cold in the sense that because you know that exactly he would like to take the fruits on the following morning, and still you have decided to eaten up the fruits. Okay, so if we are going to spend more time, we will know all these magical elements and things that would give us pleasurable moments through reading. Okay, so I hope you enjoy reading these two short poems that I've just shared with you. And then the following one would be a more serious piece of writing. The following one is a short poem being known as Mars. Now, we're going to take a look at this short piece together, Mars. So this is what students are really concerned about, I suppose. My husband gives me an A for last night's supper, an incomplete for my ironing, a B plus in bed. So these are the grades being given by the husband. My son says I'm average, an average mother, and if I put my mind to it, I could improve. My daughter believes in pass fail and tells me I pass. Wait till they learn, I'm dropping out. We could see that different family members, they're using different grading systems. They're using different grading systems in grading these women, being both the wife and also the mother of the two children. So we could see some problems in this grading system. We could see the responsibilities and also the burdens of this woman as well. And then sometimes we have to look for relevant writing background. And of course, and I suppose even though if we got no idea about the poets, we could see this woman has decided not to become the submissive woman in the household anymore. She has chosen to leave this household so that she's not going to subject to this very unfair grading from her point of view. And when we look for relevant information in our study through research, okay, we are going to know that actually the poem reflects some ideas of feminism, and particularly the second wave of feminism. So in our reading, no matter it is a very short and interesting comic or some other more serious poems, actually we could find out the corresponding writing background and also the cultural issues behind different genres. And dear participants, if you're ready, so after this short sharing on what we are going to do throughout the program through different ways, we are going to continue with the list of elective courses. So when our students have reached year 3 and also year 4, we'll be giving them flexibility in selecting the core courses, so they could select from a pool of from a pool of compulsory courses. We give them freedom to do this. And of course, there will be corresponding levels, like you could see courses in the middle level here, and also courses at the higher level. In general, they have to select more courses from the higher level. Okay, so for year 1 and year 2, we have decided the courses to be taken for our students. And then in year 3 and 4, our students will be given flexibility in selecting their core courses. And I suppose you'll be very interested in knowing more about our campus life. In order to enrich our students' campus life, we'll be providing various types of activities to broaden their horizons. Whenever the situation allows, we encourage students to take part in study tours, for example, and particularly internships and also exchange programs. They will be very useful for young students in the 21st century. And I bet you could see from the PowerPoint in front of you, these very happy faces, and then from these happy faces, you could see the outcomes of these activities as well. So we hope that the situation really allows our students to travel to different countries to join exchange tours or exchange programs. And then usually, after knowing about the structure of the program and what sorts of courses will be included, students would also be interested in knowing their possible career paths. Previously, I've mentioned that our graduates may become language teachers, but of course, there will be students who are not interested in becoming language teachers at all. So instead of actually asking what English majors can do, why not think in the other way instead? Now, I suppose you may recognize some of the faces here. If not all, I suppose you could recognize some of them. And actually, all of them studied language. And I suppose this is a very good indication regarding the unlimited possibilities of our graduates as well. So instead of asking what can they do, try to think in the other way. But if you would like to have some very traditional suggestions on the possibilities of language majors, and we believe that our graduates would be interested in these career fields. So you could see the different career fields. We believe that our graduates would very likely be interested in these areas as well. And of course, okay, ideally, we hope that some of our graduates could continue with their studies. Okay, so if they would like to continue with the studies, no matter in Hong Kong or in some other countries, we also believe that they would be interested in areas related to cultural studies, museum studies, and etc. Okay. Now, dear participants, so this is almost the end of my introductory part regarding the program. And then I hope that through this very short introduction, you will have some ideas on what sorts of courses you are going to take through our program, and also the idea of English or English language in the university as well. So I would like to see whether you got any questions for me. So if you would like to raise your questions, okay, so you may type your questions through the Q&A function. And then if you actually would like to turn on the microphone to have a conversation with me, of course, you're also welcome to do so. But please first let me know through the Q&A function so that I got some ideas on how many participants would be interested in asking questions as well. Okay? Yes, so you may let me know through the Q&A function. Okay. Now, I have received a question regarding the GPA requirements. So I suppose participants, you are referring to the fact that maybe you're already doing the higher diploma or the associate degree program. Okay, so it also really depends on the particular subject that you are going to take, okay, and also some other issues, and then ideally, okay, so again, for the very basic requirement, so the GPA should should not be lower than 2.5. Okay, so I hope this is a satisfactory answer. And then in the past, actually, most of our applicants, they have achieved, a GPA of at a higher level, okay. But again, we're going to review all the applications that we are going to receive, and also we'll be trying our very best to give interviews to potential candidates, because we believe that for some of the applicants, perhaps the GPA may not be able to reflect your other potentials. Okay. And then I've also received questions regarding study tours. Okay, so as I've mentioned, if the situation allows, we organize study tours for our students. So there were both study tours, particularly for students in our program. And like previously you have seen, I suppose in my PowerPoint, this current slide, our students who went to Romania to participate in the drama festival. And of course, it also depends on the situation. Last year for our program, we couldn't organize an exchange tour for our students because of the apparent situation. And other than the program level, actually our university also organizes many different study tours for our students. Okay. Now, for the study tours, there were different types. And take the example for our students in Romania, they went to join the drama festival. And then before, going to Romania, they went to Britain to see the Globe Theatre, and also to visit some other places as well. And then for the situation, that would be 2 to 3 weeks. So, of course, as I've mentioned, for the university, we organize different kinds of study tours. So they are of different lengths and durations. And then so that would be for study tours. In the past, we also got participants who were interested in exchange programs. So that would last for a much longer period of time, at least 1 semester or even 2 semesters, for instance. Okay, so I hope I have answered your questions, the questions of the participants in a satisfactory way. If not, please let me know if you would like to learn more. Okay. Study tours would not be compulsory. Okay, but we strongly encourage our students to participate. Okay, and then I've also received questions regarding the interview. Okay, so if we have decided to give the applicants an interview, usually the interview will take place within a month after the applicant has submitted all the relevant information. Okay, like the transcript and so on. So we try to arrange interview for the candidates within a month's time after the candidate has submitted the application. Yes. Okay, so you could still let me know if you have any questions. Okay, it's lovely to read your questions. Yes, I feel happy that for our participants today, you are actually very active, although you cannot really come to our university, and then we have this information session in a virtual way. But I could feel that most of you are actually very, very active, and you're also very eager to learn. Okay, now this is almost the end of our information session. If you still have questions, you could let me know through the Q&A function. And then for those who have no other questions, you may leave the chat room. You may also leave the chat room, so you could take a look at my email information. If you still have any questions after our session today, you could let me know through email as well. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so if you have no further questions, you may now leave the chat room. Okay, yes. So of course, I look forward to seeing all of you in our upcoming activities or also in our upcoming interview. Okay, so this is the end of our information session today. Thank you very much. Goodbye.